Hey, what is up guys? I'm your boy Nick with Pick 'em MMA. In this video we're going to be going over the full card breakdown for UFC 295. In the co-main event we have the UFC interim heavyweight title on the line between Tom Aspinall versus Sergei Pavlovich, the Russian monster, the Russian Ngannou. I think that's what you got to call him at this point. This dude is the Russian Ngannou, the Russian Francis Ngannou. And in the main event we have a really good matchup between the Poatan, Alex Poatan Pereira versus Jiri Procházka, and I'm really hyped up for this card, guys. Let's get right into it. We're gonna start from the bottom to the top. We're gonna start with the first prelim fight on the card, and we're gonna make our way to the main card. Let's get right into it, guys. Before we get right into it, don't forget to hit the like down below. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm, guys. And don't forget to leave a comment down below with your best 3-leg parlays. I'll give a shout out to anyone that leaves a parlay comment down below, and it's got to be at least plus 100 and the parlay, so I'll give you guys a shout out, and don't forget to do that down below, guys. I'll give you guys a shout out in the recap after this card airs. I do a recap videos for the previous cards, and I'll give you a shout out there. So don't forget to do that before we jump into it. And now let's get into the full card breakdown now, guys. Alright guys, so the first fight on the prelims, I don't know if these fights are in order, or they might I don't think this is gonna be the first fight on the prelims, or I could be wrong, because this is Steve versus ranked in the top 20, so I think this could be maybe in the featured prelim maybe. But anyhow, let's get into it, guys. So we have Steve versus taking on Alessandro Costa. Steve versus coming up a really good dominant win over David Dvorak. I mean, he came into that fight as an underdog, took that fight on short notice, and proved a lot of people wrong, man. His striking looked really good. He looked really clean when he was throwing his shots. He even dropped David Dvorak in the second and third round. He dropped him bad. He dropped him with the left hook, I think it was. Then he dropped him with the knee, and then he landed a head kick on him. I mean, the way this dude moves in there, he's got really good footwork. He's got really good movement. He's able to avoid most of the shots that are coming at him, and he's got good grappling too. He's a good striker. And I wasn't sure that he was that good of a striker before his fight with David Dvorak, but he really showed up in that fight. I mean, he took that fight on short notice too. And he's got a really tall, long frame for this weight class. He's 5 feet 8 inches tall. For a flyweight, I mean, that's pretty tall. And he's got a 68.5-inch reach for this weight class. He's one of the best prospects out of Australia. He's going to be taking on Alessandro Costa on short notice. Alessandro Costa is stepping into this fight on short notice. Steve Erceg was supposed to take on Matt Snow, but Matt Snow does what he does. He pulled out of the fight, and now Alessandro Costa is stepping in short notice. Alessandro Costa is coming off a really good win over Jimmy Flick, where he knocked him out in the second round. I mean, Jimmy Flick isn't really a UFC level guy, I'll be honest, but before that he got knocked out by Amir Al-Bazzi with an uppercut. But he did have a competitive first couple of minutes with Amir Al-Bazzi before he got knocked out, before he got laid out clean. But Alessandro Costa is probably going to be the guy that hits a little bit harder. But he's going to be, I think Steve Erceg is going to have the speed here in this fight. And I think Alessandro Costa is probably not going to be able to get his wrestling going, because Steve Erceg, he does have a pretty good submission grappling. He's a pretty good submission grappler. But he was getting taken down by David Dvorak. David Dvorak does have a pretty good wrestling. So maybe Alessandro Costa could have some success with the takedowns. But I think Steve Erceg is going to be too fast and too slick for him. I'm going to say Steve Erceg gets it done on the judges' scorecards, and that's my first pick for the fight. Alright guys, and for the next fight on the prelims, we have Kang taking on John Castañeda, and this is a pretty good stylistic matchup. Kang is a pretty good striker. I mean, he's got good pullback counters. That's the way he knocked out Christian Quinones. Christian Quinones was too aggressive and left himself wide open, and Kang dropped him badly. And then he jumped on his back got the rear naked choke really fast. I mean, that was in the first round too. He was a pretty big underdog there. Then he beat Dana by decision. So he can win fights on the ground. He can win fight. He's got good striking. Before that, he got beaten up by Ronnie Yaya. So the only thing about Kang is he can be a little bit low volume if he doesn't get that knockout or finish early. John Castañeda is going to be taking on John Castañeda, Sexy Mexi. John Castañeda is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He's been competing against pretty good fighters. He lost the fight to Nathaniel Wood by decision, knocked out Eddie Wineland, and then arm triangle choked Miles Jones. He really put that pressure and broke Miles Jones in that fight. Miles John just got gassed out and just didn't have anything left in the tank. And then he got knocked out. He was having good moments against Daniel Santos. He dropped Daniel Santos with a head kick. He dropped him 2 or 3 times, if I remember correctly. Let me pull it up here. I think he dropped him badly too. I want to see how many times he dropped him. So he dropped him. He dropped Santos once, but then he gassed out. That's the problem with the John Castañeda. He has some cardio issues. He can have some cardio issues, but I don't think he's gonna have a cardio issue in this fight. The more I think about this fight, the more I went back and watched the fight tape. I think if John Castañeda can avoid the early knockdown or submission, if he can stay safe in the early exchanges, and he's got pretty good cardio normally. I think he gassed out against Daniel Santos because he was really hunting for that finish. I did pick Kang in my first quick picks video, but the more I think about this fight, the more I look back on their fight tape. I just think John Castañeda, I mean, he's a much younger fighter here too at 31 years old. He's gonna be a little bit less taller here, but I think this fight does favor John Castañeda. I mean, if he doesn't get finished early by Kang, he can definitely win this fight. I'm gonna say John Castañeda gets it done on the scorecards, but I don't know if I'll be betting on this fight, man, because Kang is still super dangerous. If John Castañeda leaves himself wide open, he can definitely get dropped and submitted here. But I think John Castañeda, I don't think he's ever been submitted before. Yeah, he's never been submitted. He has been knocked out twice, but I don't think Kang's gonna knock him out. I'm gonna say John Castañeda gets it done on the scorecards, and it's gonna be a close decision. I don't think he's gonna dominate Kang, but I think it's gonna be a 29-28 for John Castañeda on the scorecards. Guys, for the next fight, we have a women's strawweight fight. We have Tabatha Ricci, Baby Shark, going up against Lupita Godinez, Lupi versus Baby Shark. Let's get into it, guys. So both of these girls have good wrestling. They got both of them have good grappling. Both of them can wrestle. I think Godinez is a little bit better wrestler. I think she's gonna be a little bit more physically stronger in this fight. But Baby Shark, she's got I don't know what type of striking she has. She's got good volume, but she's got really short arms at 61 inch. She's got a 61-inch reach. But for strawweight, I mean, it's not too bad. She's 5 feet 1 inch tall, and she just got a really good win over Julian Robertson. Julian Robertson just can't strike to save her life. Before that, she got an armbar over Jessica Penne, beat Pauliana Vienna on the feet. I mean, and then beat Maria Oliveira with some takedowns too. But I think Godinez has a little bit more pop in her punches. She's a little bit more crisp in the striking, and she's probably gonna have the strength advantage here. This is a pretty 50-50 fight. I think the odds are pretty close for this fight. Tabatha Ricci is plus 130, Lupita Godinez minus 155, and this is a pretty tough fight to pick, man, because I think this fight's gonna stay on the feet. Whoever lands more volume, I think. As for volume, Lupita Godinez lands about 4 significant strikes landed per minute, whereas I think Tabatha Ricci lands about 4 significant strikes too. I mean, so they're very similar how they fight. But I think Lupita Godinez, she dropped Elise Reed pretty badly. Elise Reed has pretty good striking. Elise Reed has background on the feet. I mean, on the striking, and she just knocked her down pretty badly. I mean, since she got the rear naked choke. Before that, she put up 132 significant strikes over Emily Ducote. I think Lupita Godinez is gonna have more volume in this fight, but I could definitely be wrong. I think the over 2.5 in this fight is definitely a lock. I think you can throw the over 2.5 in a parlay to juice up your parlays. Maybe I don't think either one of these girls are finishing the fight. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the over 2.5 as a lock on this card, and I'm gonna go with the Lupita Godinez just edging it out close decision. But I would not be shocked if Tabatha Ricci just lands a little bit more volume and takes a close decision. But my pick is Lupita Godinez on the scorecards. I don't think either one of these girls are going to wrestle. If anyone gets a takedown, I think it's going to be Lupita Godinez. I like her wrestling a little bit more. But a very close fight on the scorecards, I think. And I think whoever lands a little bit more volume, I think Lupita Godinez is just a little bit more experienced at this point. She's going to be 1 inch taller too. I'll take Lupita Godinez in a close decision, 29-28. Guys, for the next fight on the prelims, we have Nazim Sadykhov going up against Viacheslav Borshchev. let's get right into it, guys. So Nazim Sadykhov, he's undefeated in the UFC. He got a really good win over on Dana White Contender Series. Knocked his opponent out. Knocked out Castañeda with the right hook. Then he knocked out Evan Elder. He was losing that fight. I'll be honest. He was down on scorecards. Then he landed a good shot on Evan Elder, and the doctor stopped the fight because it was a pretty bad cut in the third round. But he was on his way to losing that fight. I'll be honest there. Then he submitted Terrence McKinney. He did get taken down in the first round by Terrence McKinney, and Terrence McKinney does what he does. When the fights go over the first round, Terrence McKinney just breaks down mentally, and Nazim Sadykhov just got that submission in really fast and submitted him there. But I haven't been all super impressed by Nazim Sadykhov. He still fights really close to his opponents. But in this fight, he's going to have a grappling advantage over Viacheslav Borshchev, who's got a 36% takedown defense. Pretty horrible takedown defense. He got out-grappled by Mark DeCasey, the D1 Mark DeCasey. Then he got out-wrestled by Mike Davis. He gave up so many takedowns to Mike Davis. Let's see how many takedowns. He gave up 9 takedowns to Mike Davis. I mean, holy shit, dude. Defend the fucking takedown. Save your life. Gave up 11 takedowns to Mark DeCasey. And Mashate didn't even take him down even once. That's why he knocked out Mashate. He's coming off a knockout over Mashate because Mashate doesn't wrestle at all. I do think Nazim Sadykhov is going to be grappling in this fight. I think it would be smart for him to grapple. He lands about half a takedown per fight. He only goes for takedowns when he needs to. He landed a takedown on Terrence McKinney, got that submission in early in the second round. Took down Evan Elder, and he got taken down once himself. He didn't take down Castañeda, but he knocked him out in the third round. So I think even Nazim Sadykhov is going to have a grappling edge in this fight because Borshchev's wrestling takedown defense is pretty horrible. I think even working at Team Alpha Male is still not improving his takedown defense. And if you're getting taken down 11 or 9 times by guys like DeCasey or Mike Davis, I think even a guy like Nazim Sadykhov can exploit that grappling hold that Borshchev has. If this fight stays on the feet, I think Borshchev can win this fight. I think he can even win by knockout because this dude has really good technical striking, and he's got really good setups to the body, and then he goes to the head. And but I think Nazim Sadykhov is gonna be able to grind him out. I think Nazim Sadykhov can get a submission in the second round. I know Borshchev has been working on his submission defense. He's never been finished. Borshchev has never been submitted. But I think this could be a first time. I'm going to say Nazim Sadykhov gets a submission in the second round. I think he's going to wrestle him, wear him out in the first round. And then I think he's going to I think Borshchev's going to make a mistake trying to get back up to his feet in the second round. And I think Nazim Sadykhov is going to get that rear naked choke. So my pick is a second round submission for Nazim Sadykhov. But if this fight stays on the feet, I think Borshchev is super dangerous. And I think he's alive to get a knockout or even a decision win. I think Nazim Sadykhov, so what's he sitting at right now? I think Nazim Sadykhov is sitting at minus 130. So that's not a bad money line play. I mean, Borshchev is plus 110. I like Nazim Sadykhov. I'm going to drop a couple units on him. I'm going to put like 2.5 units on him right now because minus 130, I'm going to wait till the line drops even more. If the line drops a little bit more, he was minus 125, so he's gone up to minus 130 now. But I do like that money line play on Nazim Sadykhov. I think the grappling advantage is going to be too much for Borshchev here. I don't think Borshchev is going to be able to defend. I think he might defend the first or second takedown. But eventually, I think Nazim Sadykhov is going to be able to get the takedown, chain wrestle him. And I'm going to say Nazim Sadykhov gets it done by maybe decision or submission. I'm going to say second on submission for Sadykhov here. Guys, for the next fight on the prelims, we have Denis Buzukja taking on Jamall Emmers. Denis Buzukja made his UFC debut against, Sean Woodson. And he was putting pressure on Sean Woodson, but he just looked he just didn't have the technique or the wrestling to take Sean Woodson down. He was trying the whole time. He did try the whole time. He was walking forward. He wasn't scared to exchange in the pocket. But Sean Woodson was just a little bit more technical. And Buzukja was just way too green. And this fight is going to be taken on Jamall Emmers. Jamall Emmers is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. I did pick against him. I did pick Jack Jenkins against him. And we cashed Jack Jenkins at plus 330. But I think Jamall Emmers technically won the fight. But the judges gave it to Jenkins. That's the thing about Jamall Emmers. He fights extremely close to his opponent's level. And that's why I don't like betting on Jamall Emmers. I always avoid him. and I've done pretty well avoiding him. He did beat Askabab, who was an absolute fraud. Then before that, he got heel hooked by Pat Sabatini, but he did drop Pat Sabatini in the first round before he gave up that heel hook. So that's the thing about Jamall Emmers. He's gonna make a lot of mistakes in fights, even with the he's got 26 fights at this point. He still doesn't know how to win fights cleanly. Like, he's gonna make a lot of mistakes in fights, give up a lot of good positions on the ground if the fight hits the ground. But on the feet, man, he's so much better than Buzukja. He's levels ahead on the striking. I mean, he was technically beating up Jack Jenkins on the feet. He was able to outstrike Jack Jenkins, I think. And I think he's going to be able to do the same to Denis Buzukja. As long as Denis Buzukja doesn't get the fight to the ground. If this fight hits the ground, I think Denis Buzukja is going to have a huge grappling advantage over Jamall Emmers. But Buzukja is 26 years old, still very green. This is going to be his second UFC fight. And he's going to be fighting in his hometown. I am going to be picking Jamall Emmers by decision in a close fight, maybe 29-28. But the value is on Buzukja. I mean, Buzukja is what? He opened up at plus 270, I think. Denis Buzukja, let's put it up here. Where's the? Can I fucking see the fight? Where is it? Denis Buzukja is plus 225 right now. I think there's still value in Denis Buzukja, maybe taken by decision. I don't see him finishing Jamall Emmers. Maybe he can find a submission on the ground in a sprawl, maybe. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna pick a Jamall Emmers by decision, but I think the value is all over on Buzukja. Because if he does somehow get those grappling, does get his grappling going later in fights, I think Jamall Emmers can make a mistake and give up a submission maybe, but it's very unlikely, man. This is a really step down. This is the big step down in competition for Jamall Emmers, and I think he's gonna get a clean 30-27, or maybe a 29-28 close decision. Because Buzukja is fighting in his hometown, so you guys gotta keep that in mind. But I'm not going to be betting on this fight. I'm not going to be betting on Jamall Emmers. I'm not throwing him in any parlays, or I'm not going to be betting on Buzukja. I might take a shot on Buzukja if he gets up to plus 250 or plus 300, because I think a lot of people are going to be betting on Jamall Emmers because they know this is a big step down in competition. But I'm going to be staying away from this fight likely. I might hit the prop on Buzukja by finish if it's a juicy prop. But other than that, I'm just going to be staying away. I think the over 2.5 is a good play here. If the over 2.5 is plus 200 or plus 250, I think that's a good play to add to parlays. So the over 2.5 is my play for this fight, and Jamall Emmers by decision is my official pick for this fight. Good luck to you guys. Let's go to the next fight now. Alright guys, for the next fight on the prelims, we have Jared Gordon taking on Mark Madsen, the Olympian, versus the Flash Gordon. Let's get into it, guys. So we have a striker versus grappler matchup here on our hands. Mark Madsen is Olympian grappler, but getting up there in age. He's 39 years old, still fighting at lightweight. He's going to be taking on Jared Gordon, who's got pretty good takedown defense. He's 62%, not the best takedown defense, but he's able to keep the fight on the feet and outstrike his opponents. He's coming off that head clash with Bobby Green, where he was winning that fight against Bobby Green as an underdog. He was able to outstrike Bobby Green until that headbutt. But I'll give him credit, man. He was winning that fight. He was outstriking Bobby Green. Bobby Green looked really good against Grant Dawson. Before that, he got robbed against Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett did not win that fight. I mean, even though I bet on Paddy Pimblett in that fight, I made my money there. But Gordon won the fight clearly. Before that, he beat Dern dos Santos, who's way past his prime, not in the UFC anymore. He got submitted by Grant Dawson. No shame losing to Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson was in the top 10. But now he's going to be taking a step down in competition. I think Mark Madsen, if he can't get his wrestling going early, he's going to be in trouble. I think Madsen doesn't have the best gas tank either. He got submitted by Grant Dawson. He was having good success with the takedowns early, but he was getting out grappled by Grant Dawson too. So if you're an Olympian wrestler, how are you getting grappled by Grant Dawson? But he doesn't have the best cardio, and that's why he gassed out and gave up that submission to Grant Dawson. But I just feel like this fight's going to be very one-sided. I think Madsen might get 1 or 2 takedowns, but I don't think he's going to do enough with the takedowns. He usually goes to decision. He's not a guy that's going to go out there and hunt for submissions. When he gets his grappling going, he beat Austin Hubbard by decision, beat Clay Guida by decision, close split decision, and then he beat Vince Pichel by decision. I think Jared Gordon's going to be able to outstrike him on the feet. I don't think he's going to knock him out. I think Jared Gordon's gonna do just enough to get a 29-28 or 30-27. I think at 30-27 for Jared Gordon, I think he's gonna be able to outstrike him, and I think it's gonna be a clear decision for Jared Gordon on the feet. And I think Jared Gordon gets back on the win column, and he gets a unanimous decision over Mark Madsen. And let's look at the lines. The lines aren't too bad for this fight. I think Jared Gordon is minus 198, and Mark Madsen is plus 154. I think the bet here is over 2.5 rounds. I like the over 2.5 in this fight, and I think that's the play in this fight. I don't think either one of these guys are finishing either one. I think this fight's gonna go over 2.5 rounds. I think we're gonna go to the decision. I know we're gonna go to a lot of decision on these prelim fighters, on these prelim fights, and I think Jared Gordon's gonna get that decision win. Alright guys, next fight, the featured prelim. I don't know if this is the featured prelims on the card, or maybe they're gonna do the Nazim Sadykhov versus Borshchev as the featured prelim. But for now, the Tapalzi has this as the featured prelim. We have Joshua Van taking on Kevin Borjas. Kevin Borjas coming off a really good win over on the Dana White Contender Series. He opened, I think it was in the first week of this year's Dana White Contender Series. He came in as a huge underdog, like over plus 300 plus 300 or plus 400 underdog, and he beat that grappler Victor Diaz. He was able to keep the fight on the feet, able to defend all the takedowns. He did get taken down, and he was able to stay safe on the ground. But Victor Diaz just gassed out. I mean, Borja just lit him up on the feet, hurt him badly. I mean, he really put up the damage on Victor Diaz's face before that he was fighting in IFC against some lower level competition. He did get submitted by Henjo Mendes, which isn't a bad look. I mean, Henjo Mendes is a good grappler. But he's going to be taking on Joshua Van. Man, Joshua Van looked really good against Jalgas Jumagulov. Beat him clearly. I don't think that was a split decision. He lit Jalgas Jumagulov up in the second round. He was outlanding him in the striking exchanges, having the better moments in the fight too. Let me pull it up here. I think Kevin Borjas, how much striking? I think he landed 120 significant strikes over Jalgas Jumagulov. And he did get taken down once, but he got right back up. How much control time? He only gave up 1 minute and 10 seconds of control time to Jalgas Jumagulov with that takedown. So he's a good guy that's going to be fighting. He's well-rounded. He can win the fight anywhere. We've seen him win by submission before. He knocked out Mario Souza. He got a submission win over him. Then got a really good knockout win. He was losing that fight against Paris Moran. But then in the third round, he knocked him out cold. Then he got a submission over Cleland McLean. Then beat Jalgas Jumagulov by split decision, but that was a unanimous decision. This is a pretty good fight, pretty good matchup in this fight. I mean, both of them are pretty good strikers. I think Joshua Van's a little bit more crisp in the striking, a little bit more tight with his striking, and is a little bit more technical. I think Kevin Borjas is going to throw a lot of volume out there too. He threw a lot of volume against Victor Diaz. He threw 87 significant strikes against him, but he did get taken down 5 times. And I think that Joshua Van can have some success with the takedowns, maybe lock in the submission. But I think he's gonna be able to mix it in with the grappling, take him down a couple of times, and then land enough volume on the feet, and to get a decision win. I don't think he's gonna finish him. He could finish him. It's not unlikely. Borjas has been finished before. But I think it's going to be a close decision. I think Joshua Van's going to... I don't think it's going to be a close decision. I think Joshua Van's going to be way better than Borjas. But Borjas is improving. He's on a 4-5 win streak right now. So this dude is not bad. I mean, he's good on the feet. And I think Joshua Van's going to get it done. I think he's going to get it done by decision. Maybe a KO. I think KO could be likely because he was lighting up Jalgas Jumagulov. He almost had him in trouble, man. I think the referee was able to about to step in that fight in the second round, because he was lighting him up on the feet. I mean, this dude was his combinations were so fast and so slick, and I've been super impressed by Joshua Van. And if you're getting taken down on the Dana White Contender Series 4 times, even against a pretty good grappler, but Diaz was gassing out. I mean, Diaz was gassing out in the fight, and he wasn't able to hold Borjas for a long time. And Borjas was much better on the feet. But in this fight, he's going to be going up against a well-rounded fighter like Joshua Van, who's better on the feet, who's better on the ground too. I think Joshua Van either gets a finish later in the fight, or he gets 30-27 on the decision. I'm going to say 30-27 for Joshua Van. Alright guys, next fight, we have the main card opener. We have a really good matchup at lightweight. We have Matt Frevola taking on Benoit Saint-Denis, the God of War, taking on the Steamroller. Let's get right into it, guys. So both of these guys have looked pretty good in the UFC. I mean, I think Benoit Saint-Denis looked a little bit better. I mean, Benoit Saint-Denis made his UFC debut against Leslie Zaleski, who just put up a draw against Fakardinov. I mean, Fakardinov was known as a monster at 170. And, I mean, Benoit Saint-Denis, he got his ass whooped in the fight for 3 rounds. He took a beating, but he never gave up. I mean, he took a worse beating than even Fakardinov did in the 3rd round. And Benoit Saint-Denis he wasn't almost about to get finished there. I think he was about to get finished a couple of times, but he was able to tough it out. I mean, Fakardinov was about to just give up in that fight, but he somehow was able to survive. But since moving down to 155, he's just been on a killer streak, finishing everyone. He finished Nicholas Stoltz, finished Gabriel Miranda by knockout, finished Ismail Bonfim with 1st round submission, finished Thiago Moises. We made a lot of money on Benoit Saint-Denis against Thiago Moises, because Benoit Saint-Denis was only like a -140 favorite against Moises. A lot of people were really high on Moises there, but not me. I was really high on Benoit Saint-Denis there. And he did have some good moments. Thiago Moises did land some good shots on him on the feet. And this fight is going to be pretty simple. I think Matt Frevola is going to be the one hitting a little bit harder on the feet. I think he's got more power, way more power than Saint-Denis on the feet. But Benoit Saint-Denis is a pretty good striker. He's a technical striker. He throws a good body kicks, throws good leg kicks from range. He's able to keep the high guard up to avoid anything big. But he was exchanging pretty wild with Thiago Moises. Thiago Moises landed a good right hand, some good right hands, some left hooks. But Saint-Denis showed a pretty good chin there. But if he starts exchanging with Matt Frevola on the feet like he did against Moises, I think Matt Frevola can put him out cold. But I'm going to be picking Benoit Saint-Denis here. I picked him against in his last 4 or 5 fights, I think. I picked him against Leslie Zaleski too. But Zaleski is just a different beast. Even at 37 years old, Zaleski is just a fucking monster. But since then, he's been on a killer streak. I mean, we've seen Matt Frevola get knocked out cold by Terence McKinney. But no shame losing to Terence McKinney in the 1st round. But he got put out cold in the 1st hook before he got out grappled by Emmers. Emmers took him down like 11 times. Let me pull it up here. I think he took him down like 11 times, which is not a good look for Matt Frevola. His takedown defense is 42% takedown defense. That's pretty horrible. He got taken down 10 times by Emmers. He got taken down once by Lando Venata. Taken down. I think that's the only guy that's taken him down more than 1 times. Jalen Turner had a submission attempt on him, but Matt Frevola beat him up there. Matt Frevola has some underrated wins in the UFC. I mean, he beat Drew Dober, knocked him out in the 1st round. But Drew Dober was exchanging with him, while the Drew Dober should have been maybe mixing in some grappling there and not exchanging in the pocket and left himself wide open there. If Benoit Saint-Denis leaves himself wide open like that, I think he can definitely get knocked out. But I think the grappling hole is going to be exploited by Benoit Saint-Denis. I think Saint-Denis is going to be smarter here. He's going to be in the top 10. If he finishes Matt Frevola, he's going to be ranked in the top 10 soon. And I think he's going to take the safer approach here. I think he's going to wear Matt Frevola out with the grappling early. In the 1st round, I think he's going to get the takedown early. Just put that weight on him, make him carry that weight for the 1st round. And then 2nd round, take him down again, maybe try to lock in that submission. Just hang on him. That's the way Benoit Saint-Denis did. That's what he did against Thiago Moises. He was just hanging on him, landing some ground and pound, and eventually Thiago Moises just gave up. I mean, he was just done. He crawled up and he was done. I mean, Benoit Saint-Denis wasn't even landing the harder shots on him. He just stayed on him like a fucking pit bull and just wore him out. That's his style. He's just a grinder. Benoit Saint-Denis is just a grinder. Once he get the wrestling going, it's tough to break that rhythm. And I think Saint-Denis can do the same to Matt Frevola. But would I be shocked if Matt Frevola knocks him out cold in the 1st striking exchanges? I would not be shocked at all, because Matt Frevola has those abilities. But my pick is Benoit Saint-Denis by 2nd on submission. I think eventually he's going to wear him out and get a submission either in the 2nd round or maybe get a TKO stoppage like ground and pound. I think Benoit Saint-Denis is making a lot of improvements. I know Matt Frevola is making improvements too, but I just don't like his takedown defense in this fight. 42% takedown defense is pretty horrible. And Matt Frevola hasn't taken on any wrestlers in his last 3 fights. He took on Valdez, who he knocked out ground and pound. Valdez doesn't really wrestle. Jaitar is a fraud. Jaitar doesn't really wrestle. Drew Dober doesn't really wrestle. But now he's taking on a grappler, a legit grappler like Benoit Saint-Denis. And I think Saint-Denis gets it done by, it could be a decision too, but I think he's going to finish him. I think he's going to finish him in the second or third round. I'm going to say a second round submission for Benoit Saint-Denis. I don't think he could ground and pound too, maybe take inside the distance. My play is definitely inside the distance, or maybe under 2.5 rounds. I think the under 2.5 is going to be juiced up, but I think the under 2.5 is going to hit in this fight. My pick is Benoit Saint-Denis by second round finish. That's my pick. Alright guys, for the next fight, we have a really good matchup at featherweight. We have Pat Sabatini taking on Diego Lopes. And this is a pretty simple matchup. I think both of them are good grapplers. Pat Sabatini is the better grappler. I think the way this dude grappled, the way he grappled Lucas Almeida. Lucas Almeida didn't have any grappling, didn't have any takedown defense. So, but the way he just stuck to him like glue and just wore him out in the second round, got that submission. He absolutely dominated Lucas Almeida. Lucas Almeida in the first round took him down and just wore him out and got that easy submission arm triangle choke in the second round. Before that, he got knocked out cold in the first round by Damon Jackson. In that fight, I think Damon Jackson was coming off a pretty bad news. I mean, his brother passed away. Damon Jackson was coming in with something to prove, and he proved it. I mean, he just knocked him out the flying knee and just ground and pounded him. Before that, he's got some good wins. He got a good win over TZ Laramie by decision. Out-grappled him. Out-grappled TZ Lutz. Out-grappled Jamall Emmers. I mean, he hooked Jamall Emmers. Jamall Emmers is an underrated fighter. I mean, the way he's 5-1 in the UFC, so he's done very well. Before that, he's also out-grappled guys like Demand Blackseer. Demand Blackseer is a good grappler, and he lost by split decision to Chepe Marisco. So he's got some good wins. He's faced good opponents in the before making it to the UFC. Diego Lopes is pretty good too. He's coming off a really good first round submission over Gavin Tucker. We did make money on Diego Lopes there by first round submission. We had him by first round submission, and he got it done pretty easy. I mean, and before that, he got out-grappled by Movsar Ivloev. He did get takedown. His takedown defense is pretty suspect. Before that, he's fighting in that Octagon League. Knocked out Angel Rodriguez, who's 10-10. Knocked out Ken Glenn, who's 10-8. Not the best level of opponents he's been facing. I mean, but he's gonna be younger here. He's gonna be 5 years younger. He's gonna be taller by 3 inches, and he's gonna have a 2.5 inch reach. So he's got some good. He's got the physical attributes going for him in this fight against Pat Sabatini. But I just feel like Pat Sabatini is just gonna be able to out-grapple him. I don't know if he's gonna submit him, but I think he can definitely out-grapple him for 3 rounds. I'm gonna take Pat Sabatini. I know the money line's very close. Pat Sabatini, I think, is like let me see here. I think they have Pat Sabatini as -142, and the comeback on Diego Lopes at +120. If this fight stays on the feet, I think Diego Lopes can definitely knock him out cold. But on the ground, man, if they start exchanging in the grappling, I think Pat Sabatini is going to be the better technical grappler. I'm going to say Pat Sabatini gets a unanimous decision. I think he's going to have the better moments on the ground. I think he's going to be able to avoid anything that Diego Lopes throws at him on the ground, any submission that Diego Lopes throws at him. And that's the one thing I don't like with Diego Lopes. He's too willing to go for those submissions off his back, giving up that control time, giving up those good losing the rounds. And that's why I'm going to take Pat Sabatini by 29-28. Close decision. Alright guys, in the next fight we have the women's strawweight fight on the main card. I don't know why this is on the main card. Probably because they're trying to build up Mackenzie Dern for the title shot next. But we have Jéssica Andrade making her return finally. I mean, I know a lot of people just couldn't wait to see Jéssica Andrade coming back in here and fighting on a pay-per-view main card. Anyways, guys, so we have Jéssica Andrade taking on Mackenzie Dern for the next title shot, maybe. I mean, I think that's why they have this fight on the main card. Jéssica Andrade's been finished in her last 3 fights. She's 2-3 in her last 5 fights. She got dominated by Tatiana Suarez. Got submitted in the second round. Got knocked out by John Xiaonan. She was the favorite in that fight. John Xiaonan was an underdog, and she was just throwing wild hooks on the feet, trying to brawl it out with John Xiaonan. John Xiaonan landed a nice counter right and just put her all cold. Before that, she got submitted by Erin Blanchfield. And then she beat Lauren Murphy. Lauren Murphy should not be in the UFC anymore. Then she submitted Amanda Lemos. That's her best win, I think, in her last 5 fights. She standing arm triangle the Amanda Lemos. Mackenzie Dern, on the other hand, she's coming up with domination over Angela Hill, where she just dropped Angela Hill in the first round, knocked her down a couple of times. She had multiple 10-8 rounds in that fight. And before that, she had a close fight with John Shannon. I think she should have won that fight. I think Dern did enough to win that fight, but it was a close decision. I think it was in Shanghai, China. I think maybe I could be wrong. Let me see. Was it in Shanghai, China? I think it was in Shanghai, China, right? It was in Las Vegas, I think, in Apex. But yeah, I think this is a pretty simple matchup. I think Dern her striking has come a long way. Her striking looked really good. She had some power when she dropped Angela Hill. Angela Hill is not an easy girl to drop on the ground. I mean, she can definitely take a big shot, and Dern was just beating her up. I mean, she dominated Angela Hill. Angela Hill bounced back over Denise Gomes, who's got power too. So that win over Angela Hill looks really good for her. Then she also got a win over Tisa Torres, got a win over Nina Nunes. I think Mackenzie Dern's gonna get a second round submission. That's my call. Second round submission for Dern. But even if this fight stays on the feet, I think she can definitely outstrike for Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade doesn't have the best chin, and I think she's gonna be bigger. Mackenzie Dern is 5'4" with the 63-inch reach. She's gonna have a 3 inches in height advantage and 1 inch in reach, and she's the younger fighter by 2 years. My pick is Mackenzie Dern by second. Okay guys, next up we're on the co-main event of the evening, guys. If you guys haven't yet, leave a like down below and leave a comment below for the YouTube algorithm. If you guys leave a three leg parlay at plus money, plus 100, it's got to be over plus 100 or plus 100 at the very least. I'll give you guys a shout out in the next video. So if you guys do leave don't forget to leave the comments down below in the YouTube for the YouTube algorithm. It really helps out. And don't forget to leave a like. And if you guys found this video for the first time, don't forget to leave a subscribe to the channel down below. And we're almost getting to 500 subscribers. I really appreciate you guys leaving a subscribe on the channel. Subscribing to the channel, and I appreciate you guys. And we're getting closer to that 500 mark. I cannot wait. Let's freaking go, guys. So let's get into it, guys. We have Sergei Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinall for that UFC interim heavyweight championship. And Sergei Pavlovich is a good striker. He's a good, really powerful striker. He's on like a 6 fight first round knockout streak right now. Tom Aspinall has looked really good in the UFC too. He's coming off of a domination over Marcin Tybura, where he knocked him out in the first round. I picked Tom Aspinall by first round knockout in that fight, and then I picked Sergei Pavlovich by first round knockout against Curtis Blades. And Curtis Blades was the favorite in that fight. Sergei Pavlovich was like a plus 130 underdog, plus 140 underdog. And we made some good money on it. Both of these guys, we have made some good money there. I did lose that pick against Curtis Blades, where he had a knee injury. So I don't know how his knee still looks. I mean, that wasn't a good look for him there. And before that, he dominated Alexander Volkov, took him down and just straight arm locked him. And Volkov is a guy that knows what he's doing on the ground. Volkov is not like a fish out of water on the ground. And he just absolutely dominated Volkov on the ground. And before that, he knocked out Sergey Spivak. We did pick Tom Aspinall by first round knockout there. Before that, he got a submission over Andrei Arlovsky. But man, this is a tough fight to pick because I don't know who I'm gonna be going with. I picked Tom Aspinall in the first quick picks video. Then I picked Sergei Pavlovich. But since I found out that Sergei Pavlovich was the underdog, he opened up as a plus 110 underdog, plus 114 underdog. I put a unit on him. Let me see. Now he's minus 105. He opened at plus 114, and then I went down to plus 110. I put a 1 unit on him at plus 110, and now he's dropped all the way down to minus 105. I think this is gonna be a pick'em fight. Tom Aspinall is gonna be he's gonna have the better fight IQ in this fight. He's gonna have the grappling edge in this fight, and Sergei Pavlovich is gonna just be walking forward with his chin up high, trying to land a big bomb on Tom Aspinall. And this is the pick'em fight for a reason. And I'm just gonna slightly take Sergei Pavlovich, but I'm not confident at all in this fight. I think whoever wins is gonna win in the first round. I don't think this goes past the first round, if I'm being honest. But I'm gonna take Sergei Pavlovich by knockout. But I would not be shocked if Tom Aspinall gets the fight to the ground, or just hurts Sergei Pavlovich, because Sergei Pavlovich keeps his chin up high. He doesn't really have any striking defense. But I think Sergei Pavlovich is going to be able to land one of those big bombs and maybe hurt Tom Aspinall. But yeah, this is not a fight I'm confident in. And Tom Aspinall is going to be 2 inches taller, but he's going to be at a 6-inch reach disadvantage. I think that's where it's going to not work for Tom Aspinall. I think that 6-inch reach advantage is going to be huge for Pavlovich. He's going to be able to stay at range and land some big shots on Tom Aspinall and maybe hurt Tom Aspinall. But if this fight goes into the second and third round, I think he's going to favor Tom Aspinall. I think he's going to be, if he gets his wrestling going early, Tom Aspinall could definitely win this fight. But until I see Pavlovich lose a fight, I'm not going to be picking against him. I mean, Tom Aspinall did let me down against Curtis Blades. I know that was an injury, but still, man, he did still let me down. It cost me a couple of units there. But Pavlovich has never cost me any units. I bet him against Samil Abdurakhimov. I started betting him against this fight, and from this fight on, I bet him in his each of his last couple of fights. I bet him against Derek Lewis. I bet him against Tai Tuivasa. That was an easy bet there. The money lines were pretty close there. And then I bet him at plus money against Curtis Blades, and he came up pretty big for me. I had like 2.5 units on him against Curtis Blades. I had him by first round knockout at plus 200, I think, or plus 150 or something like that. And then he won me a lot of money there. So I'm going to take Sergei Pavlovich. This is a slight lean on that side, but I'm not confident at all. I think either guy can win this fight. This is a pretty close fight. This is a pick'em fight for a reason. And I'm just going to slightly take Sergei Pavlovich. I might pick flip to Tom Aspinall for the weigh-ins. So wait for the weigh-ins video. I'll be doing a weigh-ins video for this card. And keep an eye for the final picks for the weigh-ins. I want to see who looks bigger, who looks more intimidating. But for now, my pick is Sergei Pavlovich by knockout. Guys, we're in the main event of the evening, guys. Don't forget to hit the like down below. Once again, leave a comment below for the algorithm. And let's get into it, guys. So we're in the main event of the evening. I cannot freaking wait for this fight. I'm so damn hyped for this fight. I've been like counting every day for the last couple of months for this fight, and I was way more hyped for this fight than even John Jones versus Stipe. Let's get into it, guys. So we have a MMA fighter versus a kickboxer, pretty much. Alex Pereira is probably going to be the better technical striker here. Not probably, he's going to be the better technical striker here. And he's going to be, he's moving up from middleweight, though. He's not a natural light heavyweight, but he was a two-weight champion in Glory. He's a double champ at Glory. And now he's trying to be the first double champ in Glory and UFC in MMA. So this is going to be a big accomplishment. If Alex Pereira Porton gets it done, this is going to be huge for him, man. He's going to be one of the best combat sports athletes out there. To be a double champ in Glory kickboxing and to be a double champ in the UFC. I mean, no one's done that before. I don't think anyone's done that before. But we have Jerry Procházka on the other side. He's never lost the title. I mean, he had to vacate his title because he had to go through a surgery. But he didn't lose his title. I mean, he's been sitting on the sidelines watching all these guys fight for his title. And I think he's gonna come into this fight with a point to prove, man. I think. But what I don't like about Jerry Procházka, he can definitely be losing minutes in fight. He does leave his chin up high. He gets countered a lot. He was getting countered by Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira also took him down. But in this fight, he's only gonna have to worry about the striking. I think that's gonna help Jerry Procházka here. He's not gonna have to worry about any grappling from Glover Teixeira, from Alex Pereira Porton. I mean, I called him Glover Teixeira. But he's not gonna have to worry about any grappling. He's not gonna have to worry about any takedowns from Alex Pereira. He's just gonna have to worry about the striking. And Jerry Procházka is gonna have the grappling identified. We've seen him submit Glover Teixeira in the last minute of the fight, so you can definitely submit a guy like Pereira. We've seen Pereira get taken down by Jan Blachowicz in the first round. He gave up his back when he was trying to get back up. He did defend the submissions, but Jerry Procházka is gonna be more slicker in the grappling, I think, than Jan Blachowicz. But Jan Blachowicz just gassed out. I mean, he was winning that fight until he gassed out. And Pereira just took over. But Pereira wasn't landing. I wasn't that impressed by him in the striking. I mean, he could have finished Jan Blachowicz if he really pushed for it, but he was more than willing to just win by decision. And that's not something I like to see. Even Jan Blachowicz was landing some good shots on him. This is a pretty simple fight, man. But he did get knocked. Pereira did get knocked out by Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya hasn't looked all that good against Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland just dominated him for 5 rounds. Man, this is a tough fight to pick, guys, because my official pick has been Jerry Procházka. I've been picking Jerry Procházka for the last couple of weeks. I'm still gonna pick Jiri Procházka here. I think he's gonna come in with the point to prove. He's gonna be proving why he's the best light heavyweight out there. But he's gonna be careful in the early striking exchanges. If he gets clipped and put away, I would not be shocked. But look at this dude, man. This dude is undefeated in the UFC. He knocked out Volkan Ozdemir. Volkan Ozdemir is still a powerful guy. Then he knocked out Dominic Reyes. He was the first one to knock out Dominic Reyes, I think, at light heavyweight. Then he knocked out submitted Glover Teixeira. But Glover Teixeira has a crazy chin. Let's be honest. The way Glover Teixeira survived against Jamall Hill, that just shows you how good of a chin Glover Teixeira has. I don't think Alex Pereira has the chin of Glover Teixeira. And Alex Pereira is getting up there in age, man. He's 36 years old, so he's getting a little bit up there in age. But both of them have 80-inch reach. And this is a tough fight, man. But I'm going to be picking Jiri Procházka. I think he's going to get a late TKO. I'm going to say a second round TKO from Jiri Procházka. He's a better, versatile striker here. Pereira is more tight with his striking, more crisp. And I think he's going to have a hard time knowing what Jiri Procházka is going to be throwing at him next. And I think that's where it's going to make a difference. And Jiri Procházka is going to have the grappling edge in this fight. He can go for takedowns if he needs to, get on his back, maybe lock in a submission. At plus money, Jiri Procházka opened up at like what? Jiri Procházka, I think Jiri Procházka opened up as a favorite at minus 138. Lines have gone, the lines flipped to Pereira. Pereira opened up at plus 105, I think, on some books. And he's the favorite now at minus 138 or minus 125. I put a 1 unit on a Jiri Procházka at plus 124 back when he was plus 24. He was plus 124 on October 21st, and I put a 1 unit there. He went up to plus 130, so I think that was the time if you guys wanted to bet Jiri Procházka. Now he's plus 105. I think there's still some value in Jiri Procházka. It's not like this dude has finished 25 people, man. 25 opponents he's knocked out cold. You don't see that often. This dude has a lot of power, and he knows how to land those elbows. He knows how to set you up. Look at this dude, man. He's knocked out 25 people knocked out. He submitted 3 people. He's only been to decision 1 time. Holy shit, man. This dude is an absolute monster. But so is Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira, just making his UFC debut. He's gone 5-1. He's knocked out the current middleweight champion in the first round with a left hook. Put him out cold. He's knocked out Israel Adesanya. He was the first one to knock out Israel Adesanya at middleweight. This dude is a monster too. So we have 2 monsters going at it, and I'm gonna be sticking with my underdog pick. I think Jiri Procházka is the natural light heavyweight, and that's why I like him here. And I also like his versatile striking. He's very dynamic on the feet, and he's gonna have the grappling edge. So I like the Jiri Procházka at plus 124 a little bit more. But at plus 105, I still think there's some value. You can get him at plus 110 on Beve. And I would still bet Jiri Procházka at plus 110. I think I'm going to put out 1 more unit on Jiri Procházka. But would I be shocked if Pereira pulls it out? I would not be shocked at all. But my pick is Jiri Procházka by second on TKO. So guys, those are my picks. I'm going to be doing a full recap for all my picks. So I'll do a recap next. That's my main event pick. My main event pick is Jiri Procházka by second on TKO. Alright guys, so we're gonna go over the full card again. So in the main event, I have Jiri Procházka by second round TKO, but it could definitely go to decision. I wouldn't be shocked if both guys are very tough and durable. But I don't think Poirier-Ton's gonna go to decision. I don't think Jiri Procházka is gonna go to decision. I think both of these guys are gonna come here with the point to prove, and I think one of them is gonna go to sleep. So I have the under 2.5 rounds as a play there, and then I have a Jiri Procházka by second round TKO. In the co-main event, I have Sergei Pavlovich by maybe a first round TKO, but I would not be shocked if Tom Aspinall pulls it out, gets a first round submission. In the next fight, we're gonna go with Mackenzie Dern by second round submission. And the next fight, we're gonna go with Pat Sabatini by decision, close 29-28 decision maybe, or maybe a submission. I don't think he's gonna submit Diego Lopes, but if he does, I would not be shocked. But I would not be shocked if Diego Lopes gets a TKO in the first round, if Pat Sabatini can get those takedowns early. But my pick is Pat Sabatini by decision. Next on the main card opener, my pick is Benoit Saint-Denis by second round submission or maybe second round TKO. Next fight, my pick is Joshua Van by decision, but he could definitely get a TKO stoppage too He's got power in his hands. He's got good submission game too. He's got good grappling. But my pick is Joshua Van by decision. And the next fight, I'm gonna go with Jared Gordon by decision. The next fight, we're gonna go with Jamall Emmers by close decision, maybe at 29-28. And the next fight, we're gonna go with Nazim Sadykhov by second round submission. And the next fight, we're gonna go with Lupita Godinez by decision. And I like the over 2.5. I think the over 2.5 is a lock on this fight. Next fight, we're gonna go with John Castañeda by a 29-28 close decision. And the next fight, we're gonna go with Steve Erceg by a close decision, 29-28. So those are my picks, guys. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. And don't forget to leave your 3-leg plus money parlays down below. I'll give you guys a shout out in the next video. And I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Take care of yourself. And thanks for watching this video, guys. Don't forget to hit the like down below and leave a comment below for the algorithm. And also subscribe to the channel. We're getting so close to that 500 subscribers mark. I appreciate you guys all, man. Thank you again for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourself. Stay safe out there, guys. And we're gonna make some good money here. And join the Discord. The Discord is absolutely free. We got a lot of short people in the Discord. We got over 40 community members there. It's absolutely free, and it's in the, I have it in the bio, so I'll put it in the description down below too. And I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Later.